Good afternoon, and I'm very pleased to welcome you to the first of 4 sessions of this year's Distinguished Professors Symposium, where we will recognize today and hear from 3 of Indiana University's most outstanding researchers and educators. And they are among 15 faculty members who have been appointed to the rank of IU Distinguished Professor in 2020, which is a record number to be elevated to this position in a single year. We are especially pleased to increase the ranks of our distinguished professors in 2020, which of course is the 200th anniversary of the founding of Indiana University. The distinguished professorship is IU's most prestigious academic appointment, and it is the highest honor that our faculty members can bestow upon one of their own. Nominees for the title of distinguished professor undergo rigorous evaluation by a faculty committee and approval by the Board of Trustees of Indiana University on the recommendation of the President. The title of Distinguished Professor is held by faculty members who have transformed their fields of study and have earned international recognition. Indiana University's distinguished professors epitomize what it means to be a scholar. Their remarkable research, teaching, scholarship, and service in an extraordinarily wide range of disciplines, as you will hear over these 4 sets of presentations, represents the pinnacle of public education. The university students and its campuses have benefited beyond measure from the superb accomplishments, scholarship, and integrity of the IU faculty members who have attained this title, including, of course, the 3 distinguished professors whose presentations we will hear this afternoon. And although their knowledge and the data that they have gathered could fill volumes, and in fact it does, this afternoon's speakers will be giving us just brief overviews of their research and scholarship. Before we begin, I'd like to welcome 2 members of the IU Board of Trustees who are great supporters of IU's academic mission, who I believe will be joining us virtually this afternoon. With us this afternoon are Trustee Jim Morris of Indianapolis and Trustee Melanie Walker of Bloomington. And I'm delighted that so many senior Indiana University leaders, including the Bloomington Provost and Executive Vice President Lauren Rebel, other Vice Presidents and Academic Deans are attending today's symposium virtually, of course. And I'm also pleased that a large number of Indiana University's other distinguished professors are also joining us virtually. Now, I'm pleased to publicly recognize these new distinguished professors, each of whom has received an engraved parchment. Speaker today is Distinguished Professor Filippo Menczer. He is Professor of Informatics and Computer Science in the Indiana University Luddy School of Informatics, Computing, and Engineering on the Bloomington campus. He's also Director of IU's Observatory on Social Media. Professor Menczer is a distinguished scientist of the Association for Computing Machinery. He is a fellow of the IU Center for Computer-Mediated Communication. Professor Menczer is also a senior research fellow at IU's Kinsey Institute and a board member of the IU Network Science Institute. He has previously served as director of the Center for Complex Networks and Systems Research, visiting scientist at Yahoo Research, fellow of the Institute for Scientific Interchange Foundation in Torino in Italy, and a fellow at large of the Santa Fe Institute. He has recently received Fulbright Rotary Foundation and NATO fellowships. And in addition, Professor Menczer is the recipient of a career award from the National Science Foundation. His research interests include web and data science, computational social science, science of science, and modeling of complex information networks. Professor Mentzer's laboratory has led efforts to study the spread of online misinformation and to develop tools to detect and counter social media manipulation. Many of you have probably seen his work referenced in the popular media, and it has been covered by numerous publications, including the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, Economist, Guardian, The Atlantic, Science, and Nature. It has been featured on National Public Radio, PBS, CNN, and the BBC, as well as Reuters. Professor Menczer has received multiple service awards. He currently serves as an associate editor of the journal Network Science and on the editorial boards of EPG Data Science and Piaget Computer Science. So very honored to present and introduce distinguished Professor Filippo Menczer. Phil?
Thank you so much, President McRobbie. I'm truly I'm honored by this amazing recognition. Here it is. Thank you. I'm really honored to be part of this amazing distinguished group. But I have to tell you that several months ago, when you called me to let me know about this, I was pretty nervous. I got this voicemail on my phone, and I thought, oh my gosh, he's finally gonna fire me. I thought I was in big trouble. So let me tell you all why I thought I was in trouble. So it started when I joined IU. Well, a year after I joined, back in 2004. A lot of people at Indiana got an email that looked like this. It said, hey, check it out, check this out. And there was a link to a page. And if you click that link, you went to a website outside of Indiana University that asked you to log in with your Indiana University username and password. And we found, surprisingly, that about 72% of people clicked and entered their IU username and password. So basically, they got phished. And the reason for that is because they thought that the message came from somebody that they knew. And this was the first time that we demonstrated how social media could be weaponized and to harm people. Now, this is why today people get warnings about not clicking on emails, even if they think they look like they're coming from people that they know. But at that time, this wasn't quite appreciated. And I remember, President McRobbie, you got some emails from people who, even here at IU, who said that I should be fired and prosecuted and expelled or stomped. So I thought it was in big trouble, but I'm glad that that didn't happen. So thank you. And a few years later, I created this. This was the first fake news website. Okay, it was posting completely fabricated, automatically generated fake news, and the reason for that was to demonstrate how misinformation and online ads and social media could be weaponized and could be also exploited for money. And in fact, to demonstrate this, I put some ads on this website and I got a check from Google. So this was the first demonstration that you could make money by just posting completely fabricated, auto-generated junk. And unfortunately, a few years later, we saw the first examples of this kind of abuse in the wild. During the 2010 midterm elections, we found websites like this, which were the first fake news websites that were found to be active and pushing election misinformation. This website was, the people who controlled this website were also controlling a bunch of fake accounts on Twitter, represented by this network on the left. And these fake accounts would post links to the fake articles on this website, targeting some influential user like this reporter in the center, trying to get them to repost and for this information to spread virally. And we got in big trouble for that. Well, it started with some false claims from some hyper-partisan site, and it ballooned. It was on prime time on Fox News, and there was all these accusations that we were a secret project of the Obama administration to basically to suppress political speech, in particular to suppress political speech. It even went all the way up to the House Science Committee that announced an investigation of our research and the NSF that funded it. This was all based on complete false information. It was debunked, but nevertheless, it played into a particular narrative that was part of the election. After the election, it all went away. Of course, nothing came of it. So I'm still here. Yay. And in 2016, we saw how these kind of operations, misinformation together with bots, could be used also as part of the elections. Here on the left, I'm showing a weird network. These dots here separated by this big blue area, these are two bots. These are the first social bots that we discovered in the wild on Twitter. And they were automatically retweeting each other tens of thousands of times, promoting a particular candidate, which is the node on the left. And after 2016, of course, everybody became aware and familiar with the concept of fake news and misinformation and social bots. But until then, this wasn't a well-known phenomenon. And we studied how social bots played a key role in the spread of misinformation during the 2016 election. So here, for example, this network on the right is the spread, shows the spread of a particular piece of fake news. And the people who published it, which was InfoWars, controlled a bunch of fake accounts, social bots, which are these red nodes here. And they were used to expose a lot of people, real people, to this misinformation. And then these real people eventually reshared it. So we zoomed out and collected a vast amount of information about the spread of low credibility information during the run-up to the elections. And we noticed how people who are most vulnerable to this misinformation are also not exposed often to debunking information, which is showed here in orange. So the people in the purple network here is the spread of low credibility information, and few people are exposed to the fact-checking information, which is shown in orange. And furthermore, as you zoom into the core of this misinformation network, you find a stronger and stronger presence of inauthentic accounts. Well, we got in trouble for that again. This was 2016. So some of the old stories resurfaced. InfoWars and other fake news websites made up narratives. They interviewed a fake FBI, well, they wrote about a non-existing FBI agent who said that Indiana University was working with the FBI to build a database to track anti-government memes on the internet. It was all false. It was picked up by Russian sources. You remember that they were very active during 2016 elections. And here's examples from Russia Today that were spreading in South America, from Sputnik in Korea. This variation of the story, if you can read it on the bottom, it says that we received $100 million in funding to develop this secret database. Well, fortunately, you know, we didn't get in trouble for everything that we do. Here is something that we haven't gotten in trouble for, at least not yet. We've studied the emergence of echo chambers on social media, and we've showed that simple ingredients that are characteristics of every social media platforms, which is social influence and the ease with which you can unfriend people that you disagree with. If you run a system with these characteristics and mechanisms, inevitably you end up with people in their own groups that are not only very homogeneous, so that you're only exposed to information that kind of reinforces your pre-existing beliefs, but you're also completely segregated from the other group. So you're unlikely to be exposed at all to different opinions or even debunking of misinformation. Building on this, currently, we're working on models to study how social bots can penetrate a vulnerable network on a social media platform and basically suppress information quality. So on the left here, we show a bunch of bots in yellow, and they haven't been able to get a lot of humans to follow them. And as a result, the average quality of information in the network is still pretty decent. The lighter color of these gray nodes means, you know, higher quality information that they're sharing. But we showed that when the bots can infiltrate a critical portion of the network, they can get roughly 1% of people to follow them. Then they can completely control the network. They can kill the quality of information in the network. So you can see here, all the humans are dark black nodes, which means that they're retweeting junk amplified by the bots. We also, in our observatory social media, we develop machine learning tools. For example, Botometer is a tool that lets people detect social bots. And another tool that we've released recently is called Botslayer. It's software that allows anyone to set up their own infrastructure in the cloud to monitor narratives on some topic of interest. Here, for example, is about the elections that we have an instance running right now. And you can look at what narratives are pushed by suspicious accounts, such as automated inauthentic accounts or accounts that are coordinated together. So here's an illustration. This is a visualization from another tool of ours called Hoaxy. And it shows a bunch of Russian bots, which are these large red nodes that were in a coordinated fashion trying to amplify a particular fake news video from Russia that was attacking a particular target. Our tools to detect inauthentic and coordinated campaigns have been used in many domains. On the top left here, we see that it was used, for example, during the Hong Kong protests. On the top right here, this is an article that mentioned our work looking at the role of inauthentic Russian accounts that were trying to push misinformation about the white helmets in Syria. More recently, these tools have been used to unveil coordinated campaigns during the Lebanon protests, during the Venezuela uprising and civil war or attempts, and also inauthentic accounts trying to push messages from ISIS in the Middle East. But these techniques are also used domestically. Each of these clusters, this group of accounts in this picture, is a group of Twitter accounts that are controlled by a single entity, either through an app or because they give away their account or because it was hacked. And they all are used to push the same exact messages, so sequences of messages attacking one candidate or a policy or supporting or creating the illusion, the false appearance of a grassroots campaign. So for example, during 2018, these tools were used to unveil 10,000 accounts that were trying to suppress the vote. And these were flagged to Twitter, which took them down. And this is happening quite a bit recently. This work also has been mentioned during congressional hearings, and it has informed discussions about bills that attempt to address problems such as inauthentic accounts. Let me close by thanking our funders, which have been very generous in supporting our work, and we're extremely thankful. And of course, my team. All of this work, this is really their work. I am so lucky and fortunate to have such amazing students and postdocs and research scientists and colleagues, of course. And I'm so grateful to IU for allowing me to work with such great people. And I also want to mention my co-PIs that help run the observatory on social media, and the staff that also helps run it at the observatory and also at the Network Science Institute that help us, for example, develop our tools. I don't have time to mention everybody by name. Let me mention just one person, if I may. Alessandro Flamini, I'm really grateful to him. He's really my main collaborator. I would say my partner in crime. So President McRobbie, if you have to fire anyone, okay, enough said. And in closing, let me also thank my amazing family. They're wonderful. They're very patient with me as I work a little bit too much, and we do it for them. So thank you again, everybody.
Thanks, Phil. Please don't call your colleague your partner in crime, though. Next time I phone you, I'll leave you voicemail and not keep you in suspense.
Thank you.
Thanks to all of you for coming today and attending this virtual event. And thank you very much, and good afternoon.